is John Malloy, and I'm the Director of Education for the Toronto District School Board.
And my name's Liz Reichert, and I've been the facilitator for the Enhancing Equity Task Force.
And we're excited to be here today to explain next steps in terms of the Enhancing Equity Task Force's work and the report that is emerging.
So can you tell us, why was the task force actually created?
The task force was passed by our board because we really wanted to look deeply at some of our long-standing commitments to equity and inclusion. We wanted to understand how we are using our resources to support our commitments. And we also wanted to look deeply at the reasons why, with all the commitments that are on the table, we haven't always had the results for our students that we were looking for. So our board, courageously, I would suggest, passed a motion to say we need to engage differently, we need to engage widely, and we need to understand the recommendations that will continue to make public education great in the Toronto District School Board.
That's great. It's certainly been a privilege to do this work. And you know, people got involved in all kinds of interesting ways. When we got started, there were so many people that wanted to be a part of it. We took what we called the big tent approach. So really anybody who expressed an interest in getting involved could.
So what have you heard?
There are barriers to equity. In fact, we notice there are patterns that look at the kinds of things that create divisions between schools and divisions within schools. And wherever those divisions were happening, we saw students actually who may already have been experienced some things inequitably, that was actually amplified. And sometimes those divisions were actually intended, their original intent was to draw more students to the board or to address specific problems. And in the end, the impact has actually been a more inequitable outcome. So that's a very interesting pattern that we identified. I think the other thing we noticed is that people everywhere were asking for more training, more support, more professional development around understanding the issues around equity, around anti-bias training, anti-racism training, anti-oppression training, that these things are really critical and that everybody wants it. Not just the staff here at the board, but parents want it, students want it, people want to know how to really pay attention to work on it together.
And I think what's exciting about where we are right now is our commitment stands. We want our schools to be inclusive, engaging environments for each and every student. That means some things may need to change. We also know that change is hard and that it impacts us, and we really need to work together to make that happen. So what's next, you might be asking? We have spent over a year engaging our communities, our staff, our students to get to this place. We now have a draft report. That draft report is on the website. We do need to hear from you. We need to hear from all of you to ensure that what is in this report is actually reflective of what you believe needs to happen in the Toronto District School Board. And then Liz, on behalf of the Enhancing Equity Task Force, will bring that report to our board in December. So I think, Liz, what we'd like to leave our community with is thank you for being involved. If you haven't been involved yet, we invite you to do so. But most importantly, and I'd like to end with this thought, public education in Toronto District School Board means we serve each and every one of our students and our families effectively. Right now, that isn't always the case. Things need to change in order for that to happen, and that is the goal of the work we're doing together. So it is exciting work, it is important work, and thanks in advance for your involvement.